This is a different kind of robber. He kicked his accomplice away. Then he asked the little boy to pick up the pistol on the ground and teach him how to protect himself. The man, named Butch, had just escaped from prison with his accomplice. Just as they were about to change cars, his companion saw a house with lights on not far away, broke into their house and took the hostess hostage. He was seen by the little boy who had just arrived. The little boy ran over to protect his mother and was slapped to the ground by his accomplice. Then the story happened. The neighbor across the street saw what was happening through his window and ran to help with a shotgun. Butch hugs the little boy and holds him hostage. Seeing this, the neighbor could only put down his shotgun. In order to escape from here safely, Butch took the little boy as a hostage and fled quickly. The matter alarmed the governor, and in order to solve the matter as soon as possible, they set up a task force for it. Butch's companion Terry, who had just been kicked by Butch, was so upset that he kept firing towards the car on the way, venting his anger. Butch ignored him and he took it out on the little boy. When Butch saw it, he asked the little boy to hold the steering wheel for him, while he turned back and punched him in the face, telling him that if it happened again, I wouldn't break your nose. Then Terry quieted down. Soon they came to the door of a shop, and Butch needed to get out of the car to buy supplies. He handed the pistol to the little boy, put his finger on the trigger, told him that if the man moved, you would shoot him directly, and then got out of the car. But the little boy was still young after all. Terry deceived him in a few words and grabbed the gun in his hand. He found that there were no bullets in the gun and felt that he had been tricked. So he grabbed the little boy in the passenger seat and prepared to take it out on him again. The little boy kept struggling, bit his ear, took advantage of the chaos to escape from the car and rushed into the nearby corn field. This made perverted Terry even more excited. He leaned down and prepared to enjoy the game of cat and mouse. After buying supplies, Butch came out and found the car empty, so he hurried to the corn field and found the little boy curled up. He asked the little boy to hand him the pistol and let him run out quickly. Thinking he has found his quarry, Terry pushes aside the leaves with his hand and finds Butch pointing a pistol at him. He laughed and said that there were no bullets in his pistol. Butch, however, had just replenished his ammunition at the store. Butch didn't force the little boy to follow him and let him make his own choice. The little boy looked around and chose Butch. The little boy in the car asked Butch if he would kill him. Butch said, "No, we're friends." Then Butch told the little boy that the car is their time machine. Driving forward is to the future. The back of the car is the past, he is the captain, and the little boy is the navigator. If you want to drive fast to the future, just step on the gas. If you want to slow down life, just step on the brakes. At this time, the police who pursued Butch also found the body of his accomplice. Butch sees his favorite Ford near the farm. So he sneaked over and took the car. When the farmer found out, he rushed to catch up and grabbed the window at the last moment. Butch saw this, pulled out a pistol to threaten him, and the boy bit the farmer's hand. The farmer rolled to the side of the grass. The little boy was afraid that Butch would shoot and wanted to save the unfortunate farmer in his own way. The farmer called the police, who took the farmer to an ambulance. In the trunk of the car Butch had driven earlier, the policeman they had held hostage during the jailbreak was found. Because two bodies were found, Butch was identified by the police as dangerous, violent and carrying a firearm. Since the young boy was wearing only a pair of underwear when he was taken hostage, so Butch is going to help him buy a pair of trousers. They came to a clothing store, where the waiter greeted them warmly. At this time, the radio was broadcasting the news of the robbers. When the boss upstairs heard it, he was ready to call the police secretly. Under Butch's threatening eyes, he put down the phone in his hand. Butch turned away with the purchase. Just now, Butch's car parked on the side of the road was spotted by passing patrolmen, who called two police cars and blocked his car. Seeing this, Butch backed up directly, knocked the vehicle behind him away, and then moved forward, knocking another police car into the warehouse next to it. Having done all this, Butch went back to the door of the shop. The waiter found that the little boy had stolen an elf's Halloween suit. Butch asked the little boy if he wanted to get in the car. The little boy did not hesitate this time and jumped into the car that kidnapped him. Butch asked the little boy, "What are you hiding on your chest?" The little boy took out the elf suit. Butch asked him, "Is this stolen?" The little boy was silent. He thought Butch would scold him. Butch told the little boy that it was wrong to steal, and that this time it would be a temporary loan, and that he could not do it again in the future. The two men set off again and met a strange vehicle on the road. Butch honked his horn to greet the opposite vehicle, and the opposite vehicle honked its horn to respond to them. What Butch didn't expect was that the car was the police chasing them, and the female detective in the car just found the little boy in the elf suit through the window. So they immediately turned around and ran after them, and when Butch saw them, he guessed that they were policemen. So he drove the car into the side road, and the police followed. Because of the uneven road surface, their vehicles and carriages were decoupled, and the rear carriages crashed directly into the woods. Butch also managed to escape the police. In the car, he learned from the little boy that he had never had a Halloween or a trick-or-treat because of his mother's faith. The little boy was very envious of the children who were celebrating Halloween. The elf suit he was wearing was also the Halloween costume he wanted most. So Butch had the little boy come to a house and took him trick-or-treating. Because Halloween had passed, the peasant woman did not want to give the little boy candy, but was frightened by the pistol on Butch's waist. She quickly took out a lot of food and candy and stuffed them into the little boy's paper bag.
What do you say, Philip?
Thank you.
Butch got out of the car to check on the police action, and the little boy accidentally touched the gears of the car. The car skidded down the hill, and Butch shouted for the boy to hit the brakes. At the last moment, the car stopped less than a meter in front of Butch. The couple camping on the side were stunned. In order to avoid the police in front of him, Butch said that his brakes were broken and he got into the car of a family camping outside. Butch looked at the two children in front of him and smiled with relief. But everything changed when the kids knocked over the soda, and the mother kept blaming the two kids for dirtying the new car. Butch couldn't bear to watch, so he grabbed their new car. When he learned that the little boy had never been to an amusement park, he let him experience a different roller coaster. Tired of playing, they parked their car in the cornfield to rest, only to be found by a farmer who liked to work at night. Instead of scolding them, the farmer invited them to rest at home. The farmer's family was very enthusiastic. They prepared breakfast for Butch. The farmer's grandson also had a good time with Butch. But a wanted Butch's broadcast broke the peace. Butch found out, turned off the farmer's radio, took away the knife in his hand, told the farmer not to do anything rash, he would take the little boy and leave immediately. The farmer's little grandson didn't know what was going on, and he was clamoring for Butch to play with him. When the farmer saw it, he pulled his little grandson over and slapped him twice. The little boy was also stunned. Butch immediately hit back the farmer a slap, pushing him to the ground. Then pulled out a pistol from his waist to scare the farmer, saying he should not hit his grandson. After that, Butch took the farmer's little grandson and played for a while. Then he pointed a gun at the farmer and told him to say to his grandson, "I love you." The farmer on one side was frightened, and the farmer said, "You are not a bad person, I can see that." Butch is really not a bad person, but because of the shadow of his childhood, when he sees parents who hit their children, he can't help but teach them a lesson. Because he didn't want these children to be abused, he wanted to save them, just like he had been abused himself. Butch ties up the farmer's family, but the little boy mistakenly thinks that Butch is going to kill them. He secretly takes the pistol from the ground and knocks Butch to the ground. Then he threw the gun into the well and the car keys into the grass. The little boy himself ran out in fear. The wounded Butch did not hurt the farmer's family. He put the knife on the table. He never wanted to kill them. He just didn't want them to call the police so soon. Worried about the little boy, Butch put pressure on the wound with his clothes and ran after him. He told the little boy loudly that he had only killed 2 people in his life, one had hurt his mother, and the other had hurt you. The little boy hid in the tree in fear, while Butch fell weakly under the tree. Looking at Butch on the ground, the little boy realized that he had been wrong about him. He came to Butch and helped him up. By this time, the police had arrived. They took out their sniper rifles and aimed them at Butch, who was sitting under the tree. As the helicopter flew over, the little boy's mother rushed over. Butch knew it was time for the little boy to come home. He decided to do one last thing for the little boy. After the little boy's mother agreed, Butch let him go back to his mother while he crawled back with difficulty. After the little boy's mother agreed, Butch let him go back to his mother while he crawled back with difficulty. In the middle of the walk, the little boy turned to look at Butch, who was crawling on the ground, and ran back to him. He hugged Butch tightly and persuaded him to turn himself in, because only in this way could he live. Butch agrees. He pulls out the postcard with the destination of their trip from his pocket, but the police mistake it for a gun. They shot Butch dead. The little boy was taken away by his mother, and Butch lay on the grass forever. The violent family environment created Butch, who also learned to use violence to solve problems. Although the original intention is good, the ending is painful. We should not use love as an excuse to use violence wantonly. Every child deserves respect and effective communication in order to improve the relationship between people.